pocket party.
Oh yeah, baby. So let's start that party in your ear holes.
This is Morgan Freeman, and you are listening to one of the most important podcasts ever made in the history of podcasting, the Pocket Party Podcast with my good friend, Darren Carter.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. Darren.
How are you? It's me, Arnold, and you're listening to the Pocket Party Podcast with my workout buddy, Darren Carter. Oh, he likes to work out at the gym and pump the muscles. It's fantastic. He's a girly man. Here he is. Listen to it now.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Pocket Party Podcast.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. Did you have a great weekend? Did you have a great week? Did you enjoy Halloween? How was it? Did you eat healthy? Did you say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have too much candy? Or did you go all in? Did you dive deep? Where you're like, you know what? Halloween comes once a year. Let's just do this. What are we going to do? You know? That's the thing. You never know what you're going to do, right? You're like, okay, you know, we take the son out. We take him out in the Lost. And this year he was Michael Jackson like he was last year. It's funny because when you're taking them trick-or-treating, especially with that Michael Jackson mask, it's pretty realistic. I don't know if you saw some of the videos I posted on my Facebook fan page and on the Instagram. Official Darren Carter is where you find me on Instagram. Official Darren Carter. Yeah, sometimes you hear some little comments. Like, most people love Michael. They love when he's dressed like Michael, and they're like, hey, it's Michael Jackson. You know, moonwalk for the candy. And he plays along, and he's like, hee hee. It's great. But then, yeah, you hear a couple people that are like, hey, look, it's Wacko Jacko. Or like, ooh, that's a scary costume, especially around all these children. It's like, shut up. You know, but yeah, Michael's the best, man. Like, it's, man, when you hear like a good Michael Jackson song, you're like, damn, that's good. So good. Anywho, we are here. That was that was one of the mini theme songs. If you guys have a song that you'd like to write about the podcast, I'm taking covers. I'll be playing the covers of theme songs that we have for the Pocket Party Podcast. You know, something that my son's done, or also doing originals. Here's an original sent in by Miguel Romero. Check it out. This is an original debut Pocket Party Podcast theme song reggae version.
Pocket Party. Yeah. When I'm down and feeling low with so much negativity, I listen to Darren Carter's Pocket Party. He got his friends as guests and they be really funny. It ain't over till he say, boy, don't hurt nobody.
Don't hurt nobody.
Love that. They run.
That's cool. He's gonna make a longer version because as good as that is, I'm like, let's make it longer. Let's get it longer. It's cool, right? Look for him online. The Miguel Romero. See the video on my Instagram. Official Darren Carter. See the video.
Down and feeling low with so much negativity, I listen to Darren Carter's Pocket Party. He got his friends as guests and they be really funny. It ain't over till he say, boy, don't hurt nobody. Yeah, they run.
The run. Oh, wow. Oh, it's on a loop. Oh, you guys. Oh, that's cool. Okay, let's turn it off. That's good, though, right? When you're feeling down and low and so much negativity. I love that, man. My son, by the way, he wrote down all the lyrics. I think he is going to make a cover of the Miguel Romero version. So that'll be cool. Everyone's just doing covers of each other's songs now. That's great, though, right? The Pocket Party Podcast, our own little family over here. Love it, man. Okay, let me do some dates out the gate. This week, I'll be in Reno, Nevada, November 8th, 9th, and 10th in Reno, Nevada. November 16th, you can see me at the Haha Cafe, Friday, November 16th, with my guests Stevie D, Kira Sultanovich, Matt Iceman from America Ninja Warrior, and more. Brian Swinehart. Swine Time. He'll be there November 16th. November 23rd, 24th, the Friday, Saturday after Thanksgiving, I'll be at DeChico's in Clovis, California. DeChico's, I'm from Fresno. It'll be great to go home for the holidays. And right there in Clovis, I'll be performing Friday and Saturday night at DeChico's Italian restaurant. December 14th and 15th and 16th, come see me at Tommy T's in Sacramento, also known as Rancho Cordova. I will be in Rancho Cordova December 14th, 15th, and 16th. Love it. Couple motivational things that I go to that boxing gym and you hear some good stuff and you follow. You know what? That's the thing. If you're a little bit depressed, you feel a little bit bummed out, get to shaking, get to moving, get your hips out there. Seriously. I had a good conversation with a friend of mine. He sells cars, and he's like, even though I may have 6 or 7 people do test drives and nobody buys anything, I notice his spirits are up. And he goes, well, one of the things I do is I keep moving. He actually said, mention you put some music on, shake your hips, get moving, man. Don't let it bum you out. I love this quote. If you feel like you're losing everything, remember that trees lose their leaves. Let me start over. If you feel like you're losing everything, remember that trees lose their leaves every year and they still stand tall and wait for better days to come. There is no royal road to success, but after success, every road becomes royal. One more. Don't chase, don't beg, don't stress. Don't be desperate, just relax. When you relax, it will come to you. Make your wants want you. Ooh, I like that one. Make your wants want you. That's a good one. Anyways, I had a great interview today with Stevie D, the Pocket Party Podcast. Actually, we did it last night. You ever left after hanging out with a friend and you feel better? That's the kind of relationships we should all aspire to. I left the home of Stevie D feeling great. I'm like, man, I love it. He's got it together. And, maybe, you just feel that way. You're like, yes, I like it. He's got his goals. He's really doing it. He's making it happen. And he's back on the grind. He's the author of the Trans Am Diaries. And, man, you guys are going to love this podcast. I felt really good about, man. And, also last week, if you guys listened to episode 29, it was great having my son. He helped me out with the interview, and he just had that big grin on his face, and he was so excited. It was like Christmas came early. He got to hang out with his dad and do a podcast. He listens to the podcast. He's on episode 22. He needs to catch up, but he'll do that over the holidays. And it was funny when we were done. My wife was like, she's like, yeah, like fathers and sons used to go fishing together. Now they go podcasting together. I'm like, yeah, we did. It's some kind of casting, right? We're out there casting, but okay, a couple of iTunes reviews. Thank you guys so much for making those iTunes reviews. Every time you open up if you have an Apple phone, of course they have that little purple podcast app. 90% of the people listen to podcasts through iTunes, so it really helps if you have it. So just open up the podcast app, type in Darren Carter Pocket Party Podcast, scroll all the way down, 5 stars, leave a review. It doesn't take that long. All right, we got 3 new ones this week. Here's one. A fun ride. Darren's laid-back natural style puts his guests at ease. After seeing his brilliance on stage, it's refreshing to hear his comedic wit and insight into everyday life. Helps make my commute a smooth ride. Keep bringing the funny, party starter. Boom. An emoji of a fist. I love it. Oh, then this is a really good one. I really like this one. I wish I could highlight this one. Highly recommended. It's Joe Rogan meets This American Life with a dash of Tim Ferriss. That's like too kind. Yeah, I was watching some videos this weekend, and I'm like, I have low self-esteem. I'm like, okay, I need to be more like all 3 of those guys. Because Tim Ferriss is super smart, gets it done. Joe Rogan, come on, same thing. The guy's got a brain that's so smart and like whatever. Okay, why am I putting myself down during these reviews? Okay. The reason that I do this, though, the Pocket Party Podcast reviews, is the more reviews, the more ratings, it puts your podcast on you want to be in the top 200 on iTunes. That way more eyeballs get on it. That's why I say to do it if you could. He writes, every episode leaves me super entertained and learning something totally unexpected, not just about the guest, but about life. And it's funny. I love how he gets such good interviews out of his guests. You can really tell Darren loves what he's doing and is so good at it. My new favorite podcast. Highly recommended. Thank you. The last review, here we go. Big shout out right now. I said I would do it. If you ever want to put your social medias in there, I'll give you a shout out. Everybody follow at Tony Jordan 7676. Go take a look at Tony Jordan 7676. Here we go. Hilariously funny podcast. I saw Darren Carter at a fundraiser event in Burbank, California the other night and thought I'd check out the Pocket Party podcast. What a great choice, as I was laughing out loud all the way through it. Awesome. Keep it up, Darren. Give me a shout out on my IG at Tony Jordan 7676. Thank you, Tony. Anyways, you guys, I really want you to enjoy this podcast. Enough of this intro. Get to it, get after it, and all that other good motivational stuff. You guys are awesome. Pocket Party Podcast. Now let's start that party in your ear holes.
Pocket Party.
Yeah.
So what was it with C.S. Lewis?
Where I plagiarized C.S. Lewis in my book. Something about a life of adversity leads to an interesting life or something like that.
That's cool, man.
I paraphrase.
That's right. And we're back. Hey, everybody. Author of the Trans Am Diaries, my good friend here, Stevie D.
What's up?
Dude, this is awesome, man. We're in a really nice part of, I won't say exactly where we're at, but we're in L.A., but like nice, though. It's like nice out here, man.
It's nice adjacent.
Yes, it's
like a mile down the road is really nice.
Exactly.
Where my kids go to school.
This is where people, where it's nice to see how the other half lives with comedy, where you're like, oh, wow, you're not really doing the apartment living. You're like, backyard. You have a giant tent in the back. Is it a six-man? It's a six-man tent?
It's a guest house.
It's a guest house.
You're like, put on Craigslist.
That'd be hilarious. It turns out you're like, actually, that's where I live, Darren. I pretended that I camped there with my children, but it's...
That's really my place back there, Darren.
You're like,
owners, hope we're out here by 11. That's all I'm saying.
You're like, how long is this podcast going to go? The owner's going to be back from drinking.
Let's do this.
Stevie, you pretending to live in my home again? No. You go all out. I mean, it looks like we're in his children's room, but it's
just don't touch anything. No.
Yeah, but no, it's great though. I got to see like you took just the time. If you guys have been following the Insta stories, you'll see him on Darren. Official Darren Carter on Instagram. And what's your Instagram, Stevie?
Stevie D rocks.
Stevie D rocks. He does rock.
Everything.
Yeah.
All across the board.
But he gave me the tour, man. Like the backyard is awesome. Like the just the time that you take with your two children.
I thought you were here to look at the guest house. I mean,
yeah.
You're answering the Craigslist.
I wanted the tent. The Airbnb with the 6-man tent.
It's nice, Coleman. It's 2006 model.
You were showing me some cool stuff though. Like you made a tic-tac-toe board with your two children.
I'm skilled, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Like
what happened was a tree fell that was right next to the house. We had that rain. If you look up, see those cracks right there. And so, being a hillbilly from Kentucky, I'm like, that's some good wood right there. Let me see what we can do. We made some coasters. I showed you the coasters.
That's cool.
And made a tic-tac-toe board and got some firewood for the backyard jams.
Dude, that's awesome.
Well, we're set, man.
And I love what the rocks. So when you play tic-tac-toe, usually it's X's and O's. Well, he made, they painted the rocks. So some of them were ladybugs and some look like bumblebees. And I go, dude, how'd you come up with this?
Pinterest, bitch.
That's awesome. Your house is really detailed. Does your wife go on Pinterest and get ideas?
Oh, yeah.
You guys, cause,
the coasters were her idea. Everything's pumpkin flavored. I just made you a coffee that's pumpkin flavored. What was that word I just told you I learned? Autumnal or something. That's a real word.
Oh, I thought it was like Illuminati.
Autumnal.
But it was
autumnal.
Like autumnal.
No, it means like, it's the season.
Very
seasonal.
autumn.
Yeah.
No, like I forget what that word is, but that, when you open up a cupboard, the little knob that, like I noticed the cupboard knobs are detailed with like little cool decorations.
Yeah,
I don't know what that word is, but they sell those things.
It's like spices and stuff.
No. The actual doorknob.
The knobs?
The knob on like a on a cupboard, where you'd pull it open.
That's some restoration hardware stuff. I don't know.
Whatever that is out there, you could tell somebody's definitely had their hand on we're going to make this look good.
Details, yeah.
Details, yes.
That's my wife and her Pinterest. She's the one that's on the Pinterest, and
I love it though. And you're the one.
I know I'm in trouble because the Pinterest, man. I'm going to be making some stuff.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah.
See that frame over the mantle out there? Yeah, see that?
She's like, honey, can you make this? I guess I'll have to learn.
This.
I'll go to YouTube tutorial.
It's 8 hours of labor. I can go restoration hardware.
I know.
$40.
I took a tour. Went to the garage. The garage. You have the 1978 crystal blue, or I'm not sure the exact paint, but it was amazing.
It's midnight blue, baby.
Midnight blue, man. That's right, mama. Trans Am.
That's right.
And what'd you call it?
The Kentucky Porsche. And 2 brand new cars are on the street, if you noticed. And the Kentucky Porsche, the Precious,
that's hilarious.
Is back there.
Yeah, because I go, is that your day-to-day car? And you're like, no way.
Are you kidding, man? Come on.
Yeah.
I was like Nigel in Spinal Tap. But it goes to don't even look at it. That's enough. That's enough of that, man.
You know what it is? It's nice to be able to, I think we're probably around the same age group, and it's like a lot of our heroes,
32.
and we're a couple of 32-year-olds, and because it's just looking around the room that we're in now, I'm like, man, a lot of your memorabilia is like stuff that's right in my wheelhouse, like Elvis Presley, and
that's the man. If you notice up here, this Batmobile. So this Batmobile was mine as a kid. It's a weapon. Feel this thing, dude.
You see this thing? Oh wow!
My sister Donna, that used to kick my butt all the time. My angry lesbian sister Donna. I probably bashed her in the head a couple of times with this. Wow. So that's mine, and that's the boat, and this is my son's. That's like a replica of mine.
Wow!
So it's just cool to have stuff like that,
That's cool. I'm looking around the room. You got Mike Tyson. There's a portrait of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson.
So Brett Harden, a friend of mine, is an artist. Shout out to Brett. He painted that.
That's so cool. That lamp you have, the Hot Wheels lamp.
That is from, I'm name dropping. That's from Arlene Sorkin, whose husband created Modern Family, Chris Lloyd. And so Harley Quinn was created for Arlene Sorkin. She was the voice of the animated series. And she knew Colin loved Hot Wheels and cars, so she sent him that. Wow. And then last year for Halloween, she sent my daughter a Harley Quinn outfit. Not the Hoochie Daisy Duke one, but the other one with the court jester.
Yeah, there was a friend of ours, like his daughter was Harley Quinn, I guess, but not the Hoochie one. Not
the Hoochie one, yeah.
So we're going to make it really. It's so funny because he, like when they dyed to dye the hair, he was like, "Let me just practice." So he took a little piece put it on his beard.
That's cool.
He's like, yeah, they say the color, lasts for about 30 washings, and
So I had this one little patch, little soul patch right here.
Yeah, we're like cut to 5 years later, dude. How often do you take a bath? No,
can't get rid of this damn thing.
Yeah, I know. It said 30 washings, but what the heck? But yeah, so it's really nice, man. That the tour that we took, even just in the backyard, you got stuff like I grew up with stilts and. I bet you at some point you were had a pogo stick. I'm imagining.
Oh well, pogo stick and like with you, like kids today wear like helmets. Did you wear a helmet?
No.
We had trash cans in the middle of the street.
I know. I remember I don't know when that helmet thing came into with passing with bicycles, but I know then grown ups started wearing helmets when they were on bicycles, and I'm like, we never had to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We used to in my neighborhood growing up in Fresno. If one friend would be on the bike and the other friend would be on a skateboard, and we'd hang on to the back of their bicycle, and they'd give us a ride real fast.
As fast as you can.
It was awesome.
Then let go of them. Yeah.
Then let go. We see this other thing called called the Catamaran.
Yeah.
And so you take two skateboards, make parallel. They're facing each other, or they're side by side. One person would put their butt on the skateboard. The other person would put their butt on their skateboard. Then you put your legs like this, and the friend would push the both of you as fast as you would go, and you would go down the street sideways, and just as long as you're, you know what I mean? Well, it takes
kamikaze,
yeah. One person would have to lean, and then all of a sudden the thing splits up, and your banana, it's going to go bananas.
I mean, my whole body's scarred from jumping trash cans in the middle of the street, or it was all like crazy stuff. I split my head open from doing Kiss from Gene Simmons. I stood on the couch, and we had like a beam like that. I jumped off the couch and just opened my head up.
Oh,
like
you jumped up and didn't realize there was a
beam
up there.
I had a tennis racket. I'm like, love gun, and I'm out.
That's awesome.
They shaved a patch on the top of my head.
Do you remember? Did they ever do this game at school? I remember I was in third grade, and they said if you say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, you're supposed to close your eyes or cover your eyes, look in the mirror, and turn the lights really low or off. Or I don't remember that part. I just remember you're supposed to cover your eyes, look in the mirror, and go, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And then you open your eyes, and like this, this witch will appear.
Apparition thing.
Yes, yeah, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can do this. And so I literally went like, it's like the most scared I've ever been in my life for something like this. I went, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I opened my eyes. I look in the mirror. I didn't see anything. And my peripheral was where I had my window.
Uh-huh.
Well, my mom had heard me doing this. So she had red hair and she had curlers in her hair.
Uh-huh.
So all I saw was like this floating head. And so I went, Bloody Mary. And I looked over and I saw her right there just staring at me. And I just screamed out. I screamed for Bloody Mary.
It's
it was
real.
Like,
Red rum.
I mean, I still have that image burned into my brain today. It's like,
Still have nightmares.
it's totally, because it was just
Red
like,
rum.
yeah.
My mom had the Bride of Frankenstein, like bouffant hairdo. She'd go like on Fridays to get her hair did.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up once and she's walking down the halls and you see like a the Bride of Frankenstein is going to take a leak.
Oh, yeah. I just was like the Marge Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh.
She had that hair. She rocked it, man.
That's cool,
Priscilla
man. So
Presley
you
hair.
did. What brought you out to before we get into the book and stuff? What brought you out to LA? You came. Was it your always a dream to be a stand-up comic, to be an entertainer?
I wanted to be like Dick Clark. I wanted to hold the microphone and do the top 10 and have the long mic and kids dancing around me. I just loved like variety shows in the 70s and the Sonny and the Cher and the Mac Davis and Dean Martin. I loved all of those cats, and so my homework was watching television, just being obsessed with TV. Kids would, be out playing basketball or whatever, playing football, and I'd either be on my BMX bike, causing trouble, hanging out with my Uncle Ricky, who was like the town pot dealer, who was only like 7 years older than me, taught me how to drive when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, we're gonna get a bag of weed and a case of beer and go out and shoot some shit out in the country. You're driving, boy. I'm too messed up, boy. You better drive. I'm like, dude, I'm 7, bro. But so if not, I was watching shows and variety shows, and I just knew I wanted to be not necessarily a stand-up, but an entertainer. Like dancing and singing, and back then you had to do everything.
Yeah.
So
you were obsessed. And by the way, if you guys have heard some of the earlier episodes, I talked about the 3 magic O's, traits that people have of success, and that's one of them is obsession. Obsessed with
dude.
something.
I saw it.
Obsessing,
See it to believe it.
You're obsessed with it. You were like, I want to do this. What I want to do. You're going to pack your bags, move west.
Yeah.
Obsession. Another one is keeping your obligations. People that are successful keep their obligations. And the third one that obsession, obligations, and the third one is optimism. Even when the chips are down, you're optimistic. Dude. And that shout out to Michael Levine for that.
Shout out to Michael Levine. Yeah. And I love, even the Trans Am. I've always loved Trans Am since I saw Smokey and the Band, but also the Phoenix stands for something. It's, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. And I grew up poor, like I think you had similar backgrounds, and single mom, and we were on, food stamps and all that, but I always knew no one knew what I was capable of. Mm-hmm. Even though how poor I was or food stamps, I was embarrassed to pay for my school lunches. I let everybody go first and I'd go last. I was like, we're all poor, dude.
Yeah.
I
remember I had lunch tickets. Did you guys have lunch tickets?
We had lunch tickets, yeah. So if you're like government, whatever, you get a ticket.
Yeah.
But I always knew. I
got to tell you something. So I grew up in a foster home. I was lucky enough, I guess, to be adopted by the foster parents. But
I guess.
We'll get into that in another episode.
That's part 2.
Part 2 on a very special pocket party.
We got to be out here about 11. The owners are coming home. Don't forget. Exactly. Don't forget.
But I remember having lunch tickets, and this is kind of funny actually. My mom was afraid that the bullies would like.
And they would
steal my lunch tickets from me. So I used to my one of my chores was to put my initials on all of my lunch tickets.
Did you?
Yeah. So in case I could be like, give me your money.
That's mine.
That's mine. It says DC right there.
We had a roller skating ring, and it was like,
I love roller skating.
Ring, it was like, dude, to get down the roll bounce, I could get down on some skates, but we were so poor. I never once had money for concessions, so we'd have all night skates. I don't know if you ever had that.
No.
Friday night, I'll see you at 8:00 and we'll drop your ass off, whatever. But my mom would take Wonder Bread and cut the bread thing and make me popcorn at home and put it in there and then tie it with a rubber band and go, here you go, here's some snacks for you. I'm like, I can't take that out. I'm gonna get a beat down. Yeah. So I would just put it in the locker and leave it there all night. But I always knew, as my mom worked in a factory. My grandfather was from Arkansas. He was a cotton picker, quit school in the 3rd grade. So what I saw and what I wanted they couldn't relate to.
Yeah.
So they thought I was just eating paint chips again. I'm going to be on TV someday.
I know.
All righty.
Okay.
So, but long story short is when I'd never really been outside of Kentucky, and in the 11th grade, I was invited to go to spring break with my friend's parents. He got to bring one kid. So he brought me, and I went to Florida for the first time, and it was like the Mecca. It was like an oasis. I was like, dude, this is paradise.
It was like ocean. And
there was a club there called Spinnaker. It was a big nightclub. And I said, wow, man, I can hear music pumping. I was only 17. I'm like, I went in there. And so I went back and I was obsessed. Like you said, obsession. And as soon as I got back and I was in 11th grade, I said, as soon as I graduate from high school, I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to be a DJ at the Spinnaker. So all my friends were like,
really?
Yeah, okay.
That's hilarious.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
And they said, you'll be back. So 2 weeks after I graduated high school, I took a one-way flight out of Nashville. And Uncle Ricky drove me to the airport 8 o'clock in the morning. He was about 8 Budweisers in.
To Nashville? He took you to Nashville?
He took me to Nashville. I jumped on a crop duster. Had like 2 seats on one side, 1 seat. I'd never been on an airplane before in my life.
By the way, that's not the most comfortable plane to be, especially for your first time.
First flight.
For someone who flies
I thought all flights were like that.
Yes.
We're just like bouncing up and down. I'm like, man,
this is like,
this is a party.
Yes.
I'm white knuckling it.
Yeah. Because I'm telling you, it's like when you fly a lot, and every now and then I'll have to take a flight like that. They call them puddle jumpers or whatever.
Puddle jump, yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm not really comfortable with this, but because you're used to the bigger flights. But it's like, wow. Talk about your.
And you travel a lot, but so I went to Panama City Beach. It just worked out because.
So what happened? You landed.
So what happened was I put in the paperwork and
you actually showed up to the club.
I was supposed to go to Western Kentucky University, and I knew I need to get out of here. I was getting in trouble. I was getting arrested. It was just crazy. Even though I was a president of my class, 10th grade through the 12th grade, it was just all just the gift of gab.
That's awesome. My son, he just got voted a school president.
That's awesome.
Grade. It's so cool. So you were the president.
With a big position comes great responsibility. Great power becomes
great responsibility. And you were the president getting arrested.
I was the president. I just kept getting. My dad died when I was 15. Yeah. He moved back to my hometown, so I moved in with him.
Sorry to hear that. By the way.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'd always wanted to live with my dad. So no matter what a screw up he was, you think, you idolize him.
Yeah.
So I moved in with my dad. 2 months later, he died. He was only 40.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, dude, can a honky catch a break around here?
Man.
So from 15 to I graduated from high school, I was still like showing up to class president.
Who were you living with at that point? Your mom?
I had my own apartment I got it when I was 17. I had you had foster parents. I tried to move back home with my mom. My stepdad and I didn't get along.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So I was out and went with some kind of foster parents.
Did that ever work out? You and the stepdad? Or
no, just still don't get along.
And how about the mom?
I still bitch slap him.
He's still alive
today. Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Still,
After all these
still
years,
a punk. No, still a punk.
Wow, what a jerk! I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So
and you still talk to mom and stuff?
Yeah. She sneaks and calls me sometimes or whatever. It's just crazy.
That sucks.
But
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I knew I'd screw up if I went to Western. And all my buddies were going to college. They were going to UK. They were going to Western. And it just so happened about, a month before school was out, my sister goes, Stevie, my husband got stationed down in Panama City. I think you need to move with us. I think you need to get out of here. And I go, what?
Snap.
I go, you don't even know.
Hallelujah.
I got to.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I go, I'm legitimate. It just worked out. So I went down, lived with him briefly and started DJing at shitty little oyster bars.
Did you go straight to that club and try?
No, I couldn't get there. It was like the Laugh Factory, trying to
Yeah.
go straight to comedy and go, I'm going to be in the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
So I started in smaller clubs.
Did you know how to DJ before you moved to Florida?
Not really. I would just play around. I had my own apartment. You know, I'd be mixing there.
Or you
My
had
friend
like
had
the Tech 9s or whatever those
I
things
didn't
are
have the
called.
Techniques 1200 yet.
Yeah, I just had a
So
gun.
when I got to Florida, I
Yeah.
got schooled on all of that.
Oh.
And I went to community college for about 5 minutes and started getting into radio and television, you know, learning how TV works a little bit. But I was obsessed with DJing. So within a year to year and a half, I was 2 times a week at the Spinnaker, and then I became the full-time Mac Daddy.
Wow.
And I was there for 2 summers as the main DJ. And the last summer, I started getting in front of the crowds. I started talking smack, creating raps. I do like Planet Rock, you know, background.
Rock,
I would
Planet
go out
Rock.
spring break, crush it, then have like a wet t-shirt contest.
Wow.
And there'd be thousands of spring breakers. I'm like, they're here to see me, not
Yeah.
these girls. So in my mind, I'm like, yes.
You're like,
So-
I remember what it was like when I came here on a family vacation.
Yeah, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
the dream, you know. So I was there 3
And the
years.
music was good too back then.
Music was great. Run DMC.
Yeah, run.
Yeah, it was no angry shooting people.
Was there, hey, we want some Pepsi?
Yeah, so-
That's the clean
yeah, we
version.
want some Pepsi. 2 Live Crew, and that was Florida.
Yeah.
And I remember the newspapers called me on that, and they said, you know, what do you think about? Because it was banned.
Oh, yeah.
That song was. So I said, you know, whatever it says on a record, it's not going to make you go out and set your dog on fire or beat your.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
a party
Yeah.
anthem. It's just silly. And now it's like tame.
Yes.
You know. So I was there for 3 years. The last year I was there, I didn't DJ. I just created contests every day just for excuse to get on the mic. So I'd be on the mic every day, 7 days a week, in front of like big crowds.
What kind of contests?
They were like all bikini oriented.
Yeah.
Except for Friday nights, we'd have a male review, and it was like Magic Mike. But I didn't strip. I would just go out and be the funny guy, the MC. Yeah. What's up, ladies? Hey, you can put your money in the G-string, but don't try to get change back. You know what I'm saying? Put $1 in, but don't try to get 2 quarters back.
That's
Yeah,
right.
just
If you
the-
like the scenery, let's see some greenery.
yeah, exactly. Coming to the stage.
Put a stripper on your zipper.
Yeah.
By
And,
the way, I got to tell you real quick side note. Hold that thought. Put a
All
pin
right.
in that. We're going to go back to that. I was doing a bit. I somehow I got into this idea. I forget how I was going to do a bit on strip club DJs, but dive deep into it, not just doing a silly little joke. I really wanted to know like what's the process like, and so I went on some message boards, and they were talking. It was hilarious to me because I found this bit of material where this guy was asking other DJs. He's like, guys. He's like, I got offered an opportunity to work at a strip club as a DJ, and I've only been at a strip club once, and needless to say, I really wasn't paying attention to the DJ. He's like, what should I do? And you could just, and the different DJs were like piping in. It was hilarious. Yeah. You could see like the weathered veteran. I could just picture him smoking a cigarette because this guy was like, he's like, brother, it don't matter what you, because these trust me, these girls are going to tell you what to play.
Yeah.
You know, don't even you. And this other guy was like, nah, man, you got to do like a fast song and then like a slow song and a fast song. And
No, they
know.
they know.
but then
Mercedes wants to hear 9 Inch Nails. I want to like an animal. Yeah.
yeah, so then
She's the nasty. She's the scary one.
right, and
She
so
one could stab you in your sleep.
so some of the and then the guy goes, you got to learn these phrases, and that was some of the phrases I learned. Put a stripper on your zipper if you
Yeah.
like the scenery. Let's see some greenery.
Yeah.
Something about coming down to the front of the stage. I forget what it was. Like, come on, guys.
Make it rain or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I forget what it was. Some kind of, I don't know, but like, yeah. So, anyways, back to the thing. So you had these little phrases. You were doing the Magic Mike type of MCs.
I would be on the mic, and
Did it make you want to do like extra push-ups, like the night of those
No,
shows?
I was skinny. I had the mullet,
Oh.
had the Kentucky waterfall. Like it was, you know,
Yeah. Oh, you
business
weren't
center
like
party in the back. No, I didn't start working out until I moved to California.
really?
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, man, I better do some push-ups in case, you know, like the girls get all like excited. And
I was lean. I was
I could
like,
walk around and be like, hey, you like
Yeah.
You know? That was the reason I said it is because my buddy and I, who remind me of you and your friend back in the day, Sergio Love. That's right.
Sergio's my man. Yeah.
Yeah, the two buddies. So you know, white friend, black friend
Yeah,
hanging
yeah.
out. So
The Pimp Daddy show every Friday night, the
Yeah.
belly room. Yeah.
when I lived in the Bay Area, my buddy and I, a black dude, we used to, our nickname was Strawberry Fudge.
Oh, yeah?
And this is back when I had the bright red hair.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was like always hatching these ideas. He's like, listen, they do a male dance review at this club called DB Cooper's. It ends at I don't know.
That was a chain, wasn't it? DB Cooper's.
I think so. Well, let's just say it ends at midnight. He goes, it ends at midnight. We'll show up at 11:59. We'll walk around. The girls, maybe they're drunk at that point, and maybe they thought we were dancers.
We wear a wife beater.
Yeah. No, because then they know that we were out of shape. So, so the plan was this. The plan. I was skinny. He was overweight. So the plan was that we wear leather jackets because it kind of make you can't
Yeah,
really
they don't
tell.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be jacked.
Yeah, exactly. Under your, But here's the thing about a real leather jacket: they're heavy, and I didn't realize like. After and you're gonna start sweating. After about 15 minutes, you're like, man, it's like wearing a coat of armor.
Yeah.
You're like, you know, it's
Well, it was
hard
so
to-
funny. At Halloween a couple of nights ago, I busted out these leather pants. And the scary thing is I had those leather pants on when I met my wife at the Comedy Store 18 years ago. Wow. 18 years ago. And I lived in West Hollywood, which is a great place to wear leather pants. And I would walk to the Comedy Store. I'd walk up La Cienega on Friday nights to go to my show that Sergio had.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the top of Los Angeles, steam would be coming out of the top of the rash.
I feel like leather pants, you have to be in shape to wear those. It's like you don't want your belly hanging over the leather pants too much.
Yeah.
Like you don't want that muffin top.
Yeah. And they got to just, they got to be broken in or just, you just like.
Do the pants still fit? Do they still fit?
I can still get it. Yeah. They still fit.
Do they feel like they did before, or you're like.
They're stiff now. They stand up. They stand up on their own. They're in the corner of my room.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. You're like leather pants. Yeah. I'm a size, well, I don't know what size I am really, but like I wear a 34 waist. But I remember.
You're in shape now, man.
Well, I'm trying, and I'm like,
Post the videos.
Yeah.
Jump rope.
Yeah. That's probably, although like on Wednesday I was jumping rope, and I guess I didn't warm up enough, and all of a sudden I got a cramp right in my calf. And I was like, okay, I won't be doing that for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You do the air jump rope? Do the air?
Yeah, all that stuff. Because I'm looking at these boxers, and it's like, I'm learning from them, like, oh, here's what you do.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, like with fitness, like how posting that stuff makes me feel better, and it kind of keeps me accountable. And then people, I know there's always going to be the people that kind of like joke around or get annoyed by it, but I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I respond more to the people that will private message me or even public message me, but like, hey, how do I start? What should I do? And it's kind of funny because when I started doing this, I kind of like dabbled like around like 5 or 6 years ago. Like I would post something on the road, I'd be like, hey guys, you can work out in your hotel room. And I kind of showed some funny ideas that I came up with.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember I would take because sometimes in a hotel room, you might have like a really heavy, like comforter. And I remember taking the comforter off and using it.
You can work out anywhere. I was using prisoners, man.
Yes, exactly.
You can do dips on the chair. You can do push-ups. You can do crunches. You can do squats, jump squat. You can do anything. And I used to send you messages going,
yes,
hey,
thank
man,
you.
Yeah, keep it going.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and it was funny because at that time, my wife was like, shouldn't you be in better shape to be posting? And I go, you know what? I go, I'm just trying to show that the common man can do this. It's, you're right, Jeannie. I should be, but it'll get there.
Let me just do my thing.
It'll get there. It is kind of funny because you are you still a personal trainer, or you did it for a while?
I still have a fitness. I do some privates now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, as far as I've known, you've always been in shape.
Always. It's kept me. It's poor man's therapy. So
it really is.
Even as a kid, I knew I wanted to be fit, and I was the skinniest little. Didn't play sports. I went out for football in the 7th grade, and it wasn't like Rudy. It wasn't like at the end I didn't score a touchdown. I was just like the smallest kid, but I didn't quit. I mean, I was badass on a BMX bike, but I was never like yoked. I had to be funny to get out of fights and stuff like that. But when I moved here, that's when I really got into fitness. I moved out with a guy he was juiced up. I never did juice, I never did steroids, but he showed me the basics. And then from there, I'd be in the gym and people would start asking me questions.
That's
like,
cool.
And I was like, oh, I guess I know what I'm doing now.
That's great.
And
no one's asking me questions yet. I'm not. Well, I'm also hanging out with pro boxers. So why would they ask me a question?
Yeah. Well,
they're asking me when I'm going to leave.
What did he tell you? I can't afford to pay him, but if you could just tell me the advice he's giving you.
He said, keep your head down and don't get punched.
You don't get punched in the face.
He said, yeah, keep your ass off the ground.
Yeah, stick and move.
Yeah, stick and move. There you go. Yeah.
Don't forget to breathe.
Yeah, that's good when they ask you questions. You're like, and there's so many things I guess you would do. Now, back when I would see you a lot, do you just learn like all these exercises, and then is it constantly updating just like a computer? You're like, oh, I know even more abdominal.
Well, the
exercises
DJ
now,
thing, when I moved out here, so I came straight to California, just like I did Florida. Was no plan B. And even though there I was a big fish in a small pond, I knew I'd run its course.
Yeah.
That was it for me. So I jumped in the car and I, hit the 10 freeway and headed to LA.
Does the 10 go across America?
It goes straight across.
Wow.
I went from Panama City that just got hit by Hurricane Michael, went straight from there, straight out to Santa Monica Pier, basically. And but I thought there would be like 100 clubs like there was here. So I took like $500, had like VHS tape edited. It was like me, spring break. I'm like, I'm going to crush it. So I came to, Santa Monica and I looked around. There's no beach club. It's a different vibe. And LA's so spread out. So I was like, oh man, I got to get a backup plan. So got in a couple of clubs out here. I'd work some sketchy clubs. I'd go downtown, but I knew I started getting into fitness, wanted to be healthy. And then I was like, how can I, I was a dancer. I love music. I like being a DJ. I like being funny. How can I put all this together? So I decided I wanted to be a stand-up comic. And this was back in 7 or 3, whatever it was. So I'm like, well, I work nights. I can't. I DJ at night. So I started pulling back from the DJing, and I got certified as a trainer. So I worked at this place in Beverly Hills Health and Fitness. and I would train. I'd be working out with like Bruce Springsteen or
No
Chili
way.
Peppers would come in. Just you didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
dang, man. And then I got a gig. Oh, this is funny. I got a gig that I post some of these sometimes in my mullet on the Party Machine, which was produced by Arsenio Hall, and I was a featured dancer. So I got paid, and they're like, Steve, we're going to open this shot, and you're going to be up on the riser, and you come out and you spin, then you point to the camera, and then squat. I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
So I was making like $45 a show. I'm like,
Still, you're on
I'm
TV.
on TV, bro.
And people back home are like,
oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Blowing up with my mullet. And so,
So when you'd see like Bruce Springsteen at the gym,
I never geeked out because he didn't do what I wanted to do. You know?
what do you mean?
I mean, he was Bruce Springsteen. I'm more of an Elvis guy, but still, I'd see the Chili Peppers. I'd see all these actors or whatever, and I'm like, no, I want to be a host. I want to be funny.
I see what you're
I want to be
saying.
on stage. I want to be telling jokes. So gradually, I started pulling back from the DJing. I trained a couple of people during the day, and at night, I started doing comedy. You know, I would go to the coffee houses and work my way up, and then, you know, like we said, the Laugh Factory became like the Spinnaker. I would see the marquee and go, that's it. I want to drive down Sunset, and I want to see my name on the marquee of the Laugh Factory. So that was the goal. So, you know, I did gigs and gigs and gigs, and probably 5 years before I started, you know, getting traction and consistently then started going up and going, all right, it's not a matter of I hope I don't suck tonight or
obsession.
Just keep it going and have confidence. And then people get who you are. I never changed. Like, I'm the white trash, I'm the hillbilly. And growing up with that adversity and that poverty and that dysfunctional family or whatever provides a lot of material. So I talk about my, you know, angry lesbian sister Donna that used to kick my butt, or Uncle Ricky, or, you know, food stamps or Trans Ams. My dream was to have a Kentucky Porsche, which was a Trans Am, you know. So I just started started getting my own voice and my own rhythm. And then, you know, it happened one day. My name was on the marquee at the Laugh Factory.
That's right, kids.
I mean, not from a coffee shop to the next night, but
But it's
Jamie, hey buddy, listen, you come in Tuesday, you know.
So that's what you have, that spark, and you just kept going and going. And be like, this is my goal. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to. And sometimes in comedy or entertainment, even though you do have a goal, sometimes it's out of our control. Like other people, we have to answer to people. You know, like I have a friend that's kind of going through some depression because he's just not. Things aren't happening with his comedy, and. You know, he used to get regular spots at like the Comedy Store, and then the other night he came to see me, and like the doorman that was working the back of the Comedy Store didn't recognize him.
Didn't know him, yeah.
So
that could be a blow.
Yeah, it was a blow. It's like, but it wasn't just one blow. It's like
man, I used to.
I know.
Yeah.
It was just like one thing after another. I mean, this is like the series of like the 10th blow. It's like just you know, because and so I called a friend today who's he sells cars, and I guess they don't call them car salesman anymore. It's called a car. I don't know.
Auto pimps.
Exactly. It's even worse, right? Yeah. But he.
What you got, man?
Yeah. I forget what you got. Yeah.
What you got this week?
Yeah. I don't know whatever. But he get off the phone. I go, how was your day today? And he goes, I think I showed the car to about 6 or 7 people, different cars, and not one sale. I go, your spirit sounds so good. You don't sound like you're, you know. And I think that it's like with comedy, sometimes you can be obsessed with something and then you take it personal because you're selling yourself. What if they're like, nope, we don't want the Kentucky guy who has an Uncle Bobby or Uncle Ricky, and it's like, damn, but you know what?
You can't take it personally.
Can't take it personally.
Not for everybody.
Got to keep going forward. Be like, okay, not for everybody. Boom, that's all right. Boom, I'm gonna go over here. You know,
stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, there's a lot of anger right now in comedy.
Yes.
And I've always been optimistic. I'm the silly guy.
Make
I like
America
to dance.
I love what you said. What is it? Our show. We're gonna do a show together. If you guys are in North Hollywood, we'll be at the Haha Cafe on Friday,
November 16th.
And I go, man, I love comedy. I go, I like our feel good fun vibe. And then you just kind of riff something. You go, yeah, make America
grin again.
I go, I love it. I go, you know what? There's plenty of places people want to hear angry stuff or whatever. That's fine. You know, I like to make this podcast a place where we uplift and bring positivity. And
Mike Marino has Make American Italian again, and he's great. You know, his niche.
Yeah.
And we did a show together last month, and it was great. And I just kind of threw that off the cuff. I didn't mean to jack his thing, but no, America needs to laugh again. You know, like I put something on Facebook. I jacked Trump's hat, a year ago and said, make Facebook fun again. I just, put that on the hat. I'm like, used to be fun. Used to be just rip on people. Now it's like, you got to block. Everyone's so angry.
Shout out to Australia and New Zealand. We got some listeners down there.
Oh, right on.
But, you're right. I learned my lesson about 7 years ago. I posted There was a dog. I was at a restaurant, and there was a dog at the booth next to us, and I just didn't like looking at the dog's rear end. And I posted something about that, and I'm thinking everyone's going to be 100% on my side.
Yeah.
And then people started going back and forth, like, I love animals. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You don't like animals? I'm like, no, I like animals. And then it got into like one of my, especially Facebook could be weird because it's a combination of.
And it can go the wrong way.
Yeah, and it was like
I didn't intend for it.
And it was like a friend. I'm sorry. It was my cousin started arguing with like a fan because they're all on the same page, and then they're starting the name call, and I'm like, ugh. So I just
that's happened to me, and then they send you a personal.
Yes.
Who's this jackass?
I know, and I just deleted the whole post. I'm like, I don't even want to go. And that was something as mundane as dogs in restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, so
you put something up harmless sometimes, just our brains like, oh, this is funny, and then someone takes it and their own agenda.
They're used to getting pissed off looking at social media. You know what I've noticed too? Like I'll post a joke, and then it comes up on the Facebook memories, and I'm like, ooh, that was from a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks kind of weird now in today's climate. It looks kind of the way things change. It's like, it doesn't. It almost.
No, I was watching the other day. I was flipping through YouTube, and I love Dean Martin. I love the old those old guys. And I love the camaraderie of like the Tonight Show when his friends would come on, and they were like, these guys are really buddies. Like you and I are really really buddies.
Yeah,
I've done podcasts where I don't know the person or radio interviews, and you have. Where you're like, I hope they get me. I mean, they might not get. Like,
I know.
What's this hillbilly doing here?
Dude.
But you always knew like they're really friends, and we were watching a Dean Martin roast, and they were talking about Puerto Ricans and blacks and Italians and Jews, but they're all friends. They're all just busting each other's chops because they're just clowning each other.
Absolutely.
And true friends can do that.
There's nothing worse than doing an interview and the person gives you attitude.
Yeah.
I remember one time I did radio in Iowa, and right when I walked in, it was a heavy metal or rock station, and the guy was like, right when the interview started. He's like, so you were in the movie Be Cool with John Travolta. So what small part did you have? Just like that.
Yeah.
And actually it was like in the beginning of the movie, it's like 5 minutes in, I was the rental car guy. And he just cuts me off and he goes, of course you were. Just real condescending.
Like nice, yeah.
I just shut down. I didn't even feel like being funny at that point. I was just like, get me out of here.
Just yes and no, yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, it's like, and that guy probably thought I was a jerk, but I'm like, the way he approached it, there's more to it than that, but that was just like the final straw where I'm like, I can't even like.
No, I was hosting a show a couple weeks ago at the Ha. And it was a Saturday night, good crowd, and I introduced the guy. I said, "What do you want me to say?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll say, I was on Sopranos or whatever it was." And someone in the front, which episode? I don't remember seeing you. Which? And he's like, "It's the one with it." Can I get back to my act? And it was like he spent 5 minutes and talking about what episode he was in. He had to justify his IMDb to this one woman. So the next person came up, and I'm like, "Oh, he was on so and so," and I go, "Hey, sausage lady," because she said she met her husband at Costco. He's selling sausage, whatever. So she became like sausage lady, and I'm like, and don't be grilling him on his resume. Everyone else here, we get it. Okay, he was on. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards.
We'll talk. Yeah,
I got 2 words for you. Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Have a meet and greet afterwards. But people they can be harsh.
They can be, So let's talk about. So you've written a book, and you have another book coming out.
I have a new book. Yeah, it's being edited right now. I can barely read a book, but I wrote a book. That's the first thing I told my wife. Well, I had a little cancer, a little bump in the road that I'm not even talking about much anymore because, like I said, we were just talking about it. I was on, I was in Times Square on the Jumbotron, and the face of because I was really young, I had prostate cancer. I had the old man type of cancer, and I was in pretty good shape. Ate organically and all this stuff, and started having like pains. So I thought my wife had a voodoo doll, and she's like stabbing me in the junk or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, it turns out average age is 72. I was 42. So they, the story caught on. And so I was contacted by Prostate Cancer Foundation and to be like an ambassador, which was cool. Great opportunity. I want guys to get checked for whatever reason, what's in the environment, what we're putting in our bodies, who knows what's going on. But men are getting it a lot earlier. But it gave me a good excuse to write a book. So I wrote a damn book.
Dude, that's the discipline of writing a book. I mean, how do you do it? What do you do? Did you make a certain time? And did you write out the book? I'm already.
Well, I wrote it like.
Did you write it out like on a? How did you write it? Like a notepad? Or
well, I didn't want it to be a cancer book. I didn't want it to be. I'd read Lance Armstrong's book, all these other books about people with cancer, and I said, well, I'm funny. I can make cancer funny. Yeah. So let me just make the cancer the common thread.
Right.
I got cancer. Boom. Who gives a shit? I had a crazy life. I got more important stuff. Listen to this. You know, I grew up on food stamps in 13 different houses. You know, high-speed car chases with my dad when I was 5 years old. I got some funny shit to talk about.
Do you write the chapters and then write about each chapter?
Well, I would
format it.
My goal was a year. So a year in cancer from when you're diagnosed, from your surgery, from a year afterwards. So you go to these checkups, you know, weekly, then every month, then every 3 months, and then, but a year is a big mark. So my goal was, and I was pitching, had a lot of shit going on in the business at the same time. I just pulled back from stand-up because Rockstars of Comedy came out, which I created and produced, and had Whitney Cummings and Brett Ernst, and it had some great talent in it. So I got a production deal.
I still have the T-shirt.
Oh yeah, you got the white beater.
Yeah. No, I got the black one with the.
Oh, you got that?
logo.
Oh yeah. You rocked that a few times.
I do. Yeah.
It's like, thanks for representing.
I remember you called me about it. You go, check out this trailer, and I looked and it was that song by AC/DC, Thunder.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I jacked it, AC/DC.
I never even heard that song. I'd never heard that song.
It went perfectly.
And you gave it to me. You gave me that, and I was like, I love that song.
Yeah.
And then it's my ringtone, guys.
So the Rockstars of Comedy came from my Thursday nights that I had at the Laugh Factory. That was a high energy show.
Yeah.
Like you would come in, Dane would come in, you know, you never knew, and I had a DJ, and it was just, I wanted to be like a rock concert.
Yeah.
I wanted that energy, and I kind of sensed that people were getting more ADD. Like, and that
was back then. That was before cell phones.
Yeah. We'll come in, hit them hard, and get out. You know, boom, boom, boom. And I'm high energy anyway. You know, when I hit the stage, I don't care if it's 20 people or 200 people. You're getting a hair flip. You're getting high kicks. You know, in my mind, I'm at Madison Square Garden. They're like, dial it back a little bit, Stevie. I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome. So Rockstars of Comedy was based on that. So we shot Rockstars of Comedy. I got a TV development deal. I signed Tommy Lee to host. So we're out pitching that. We're just about to set up our first pitches were lined up. I got diagnosed with cancer. I said, I can't tell Tommy Lee I've got prostate cancer. Like, that's not cool. That's not rock and roll. So I said, guys, I'm going to be gone for about a month. I told the production company, I told Tommy, can we set up the pitches for, you know, this date? Meanwhile, I went and had full radical prostatectomy surgery. I was all jacked up. I lost, you know, like 20 pounds. Looked like I'd been to Vegas with Charlie Sheen for 2 weeks. And so I had all this going on. Then I got another deal, another show I created. So I thought I was rocking and rolling. So that is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to update the cancer, but I wanted to tell my journey, where I came from.
Yeah.
You know, Hillbilly's road trip from, you know, a trailer park to the Sunset Strip. So that inspired me. So I was driven. I was obsessed. Like you talk about being obsessed. Every night I would stay awake in bed. And I'd tell my wife, I'm writing my book. And she's like, sure, you know, even if it's just a memoir, even if it's a diary, a personal diary, I'm like, no, it's gonna be a book. And so I always believed it would be a book.
Where back to the actual physical, like, where do you write the book? Like,
I wrote it.
Do you have a MacBook and then you open up?
No, so I wrote it on an iPad with a keyboard, detachable keyboard.
Okay.
Which I wrote my second one on now too.
Yeah. You use like an app or something, or Evernote?
I use
or
Pages,
something?
which is a pain in the ass. So I recommend, if anybody's writing a book, writing a script, anything like that, convert it to Words, because Word is the most used. Everyone in the business uses Word. So if you try to send something in Page, the document they want to see is Word. So then I had to convert everything. That was a complete other nightmare. But I didn't write other than...
This is a technical question. I'm sorry. Is Word on my MacBook? I don't even know.
No. So Word is on your PC.
Oh.
Word is like on a Dell.
Oh.
So that's another thing.
Where does a Mac have it?
So Mac is great for other things. I didn't know this either before I started writing. I was just writing on Pages. Got an editor. He's like, what the... He can't even do like the script changes, the track. It's called tracking or whatever. His notes would be over here and then highlighted. So there was a whole jumbled thing that
must be a common
way
problem.
beyond my comprehension.
Everybody has a MacBook.
Yeah,
you would think.
So there's ways you can do it now. Like I said, you can download Word. Pages will give you an option before you send it. Do you want to send it in another format? Always send it in Word. Which
that's
I've
cool.
found this out now.
So I can still write it in.
Yes.
Oh,
correct.
Just like with GarageBand, the first time I had a longer podcast and it said it's a WAV file, and I'm like, what? There's a little thing up there. You click share, and then it says send to disk, and you can click MP3. Boom.
Okay.
If you guys are podcasters at home, that's how you do it.
I want to learn how to do this too.
Yeah.
So, so my goal was 1 year to finish the book. So it got coming up on 1 year. We had another show, a third show I got a deal for. And we went to CMT. CMT said, we love it.
Love CMT.
We won it. We're on. It was with this guy, Jay Dobbins, who wrote a book called No Angel. He was the first DEA agent to infiltrate the Hells Angels. It became a Patch Tails Angel. It was badass. And I was going to put like an alias on it just in case I didn't want my, a target on me like he has a target on him.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was intriguing. And guys like, biker stories, gangland stories. So the lead in we were going to be the lead in for Dog the Bounty Hunter on CMT. So it was like a whole thing. I'm like, well, let me just hold off on that 12-month deadline. Let me wait till this sells, and that's going to be a great silver lining.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great ending to the whole book. Well, it turned out that it all fell through. Doesn't matter if you go to the network, you go to the president, it's greenlit until it's on the air. There's no guarantee.
But you hear that though, folks? He had optimism. He was optimistic.
Never stopped. So I still had the book.
Yeah.
So the book took about 18 months. The book.
Was there a point where you're like, damn, but I need I need something at the end, something good to happen at the end?
Yeah, I needed something good. And it was another story.
And unfortunately, I hadn't started my podcast
with a
yet,
weird.
So
This would have been the final chapter.
I was booked in the Pocket Party podcast.
Yes, it's 5 years later. Sorry for the delays. So I got cancer. Wait, didn't you get that like a long time ago? You said you're 42, dude.
Pocket Party.
Yeah, Pocket Party podcast.
So were you like
something else happened at the end,
yeah.
which wrapped it all back around.
Yeah.
What happened was there was a kid that started getting all this national exposure that had terminal cancer. Just happened to be from my hometown in Kentucky. So all these country music stars, they were all doing thumbs up for Lane. So there was this whole big campaign that I got drawn into, and I felt for this kid. I'm like, here I am feeling sorry for myself. This kid's 13 and he's going to die, and he's optimistic, and he's dancing. He was always like in a good mood. All these country stars are going. So I told that story about, full circle, the circle of life. It all took me back to where I came from. So that was a great, it was meant to be. So that was the final chapter. And the rest is just fun. So I didn't really write it in chronological order. I would think of like a story like my Uncle Ricky.
Yeah.
Or I'd think of a story when I got stabbed in the pencil, in the junk with a pencil. And I thought, hey, Doc, maybe I know how I got prostate cancer. The 10th grade, I jumped on my friend's back and I got stabbed he had a pencil in his, and he's like, that's not your prostate, hillbilly. I'm like, well, same neighborhood, right? Same neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you do an audio version of your book?
I did not.
Is that something you ever wanted to do?
When I'd be doing book signings and I'd be approached, and there's actors that do that. And they would come up and go, I'm pretty sure I can capture your voice. I'm an audio actor. I do audio books. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can't.
Yeah, they say it's actually pretty hard to do an audiobook. Like as far as like it's a lot of work. You're in there for a long time and you're messing up and they got to restart. And,
it was trippy. Like I know I was at Book Soup on Sunset. I'm like, man, a lot of the stories take place on Sunset Strip. I'm talking about the Laugh Factory. I'm talking about the Comedy Store, and here I am by this bookstore I've passed 1,000 times, and I'm supposed to do a reading from my book in there. So I open it up and I'm like, what do you want to hear about? Let's read this. And I start reading a chapter and I'm like, I can't read my own damn book. I'm like stammering because comedy, we're like, you're reading the audience. Let's get to the punch.
And when you're reading a book in front of people, do you feel like, oh my God, they're getting bored? Oh my God.
Yeah, you're just like, this is cheesy. I'm like, hey, let me read from my own book to you guys. Just sit back. I'm like, So
hey,
I'm like,
can I read a little? Let me read like a page.
Do you really want to?
Yeah, I would love to do this on the podcast. This
let
would
me
be
do
awesome.
a funny page. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, let's get a funny page. And as you're doing that,
Here's a good one. You're a boxer. Read SmackDown.
Oh, cool. All right, here we go. I'm a voice actor. I can
Okay, can you capture my voice?
I can capture your voice. Okay, here we go, guys. This is me imitating Stevie D.
SmackDown. Oh, I'm going to read it?
No, I'm going to read it. Okay, I'm going to read it.
Oh, this is me.
Okay, SmackDown. You guys,
this is
okay,
Stevie D.
Okay, Stevie D. See if you guys let me know if my impression's good.
I recently read Adam Carolla's book. In 50 years, we'll all be chicks.
That's stupid. That actually, okay, that was really
fall for it?
That was a magic trick for the radio. I actually handed it back to Stevie D. Okay, here we go. How far should I read?
I was wondering why you kept handing me the book.
I know it's like
who's reading it? Are your glasses that bad? Or I tell you what the word is?
I'm like,
do you need a highlighter?
I'm bad at magic. All right, here we go. SmackDown. How far do I read? How far would you like me to go? I know he whips out a magnifying glass. All right, let me take a sip of water. I recently read Adam Carolla's book, In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks. And in it, he said something like, all men know a cool fight story, and he proceeds to tell one. Even though I had intent... I make you sound like a nerd. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Even though...
Yeah, even though... I'll just read I'll forget the voice. I'll just read it, though. Even though I had intended for this book to be inspirational, funny, and even heartwarming, it's been months that I started this process, so the testosterone that's returning to my body is telling me to share an ass-kicking story.
Yeah, doggy.
So here's a little ditty for you. In LA, it's entirely possible to meet several people throughout the day who need the shit slipped out of them.
Slapped.
Slipped. See what I mean? If this is a
I'm like your teacher standing over your shoulder, Darren.
No. In LA, it's entirely possible to meet. I'm going to give you kind of an accent. If you
Can I
don't
just
mind.
tell you what happened the whole damn
Yeah.
chapter?
Forget
All
the
right.
book. You just
So
tell.
here's what happened. So
Yeah.
you know La Cienega?
Yes.
You know the big.
It's like
when you're going to Sunset.
It's like
La
you're in
Cienega.
San Francisco. It's like
You
you're
have a
going up a hill.
65-degree grade.
Yeah, it's very scary, especially if you have a stick shift because
Yeah,
you feel like
so
your car's going to roll back.
I had a Jeep Samurai. Remember those?
Yes.
Like the poor man's Jeep.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there rocking back and forth going, oh my God.
I know.
Burning my clutch out. Like Dale Earnhardt couldn't get up this hill.
I'm telling
So I
you.
get to the light. I'm about to take a right. The light's red.
Yeah.
I'm like right on red.
Yep.
And usually courtesy, this person slows down a little bit. Hey man, bro, so they're not blocking the intersection. They kind of give you a nod. So I'm about to turn right onto Sunset from La Cienega, right?
You're going up the hill. Yeah.
Clutch
It's a scary
is
thing.
smoking. Yeah. Had my girlfriend with me at the time. So there's a tour van, like, LA tours, tour the homes. So I'm about to turn. He's about 15 yards from me and he's, slowing down. I'm like, oh, cool. He's letting me in. So I gave him a,
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, bro.
Give him a little
My
wave,
arm's
yeah.
out the window. So I'm about to turn. I'm in the process of turning. I hear him gun it and slam on the brakes. I pull my arm in.
Yeah.
He barely, like he was pretended to ram into my Jeep.
Oh, my
like
God.
my Samurai, and he's going, you ISO, you son of a bitch, ISO. I'm like, Middle Eastern? You ain't from around here, are you?
Yeah.
You ain't from my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, chill out. So, I go ahead and turn. I'm like, what's your problem? He's still giving me the finger. So my girlfriend was this redneck from Georgia,
Yeah.
a beautiful redneck. She turns around and gives him the finger back. So then he's like on fire back there. He's like, yeah, son of a bitch, ISO, faggot, ISO. He's calling me faggot, ISO. So he just keeps going. He's riding my ass. So I flip him off going, hey, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
And, because either that or my redneck girlfriend's going to get out and hit him in the head with her shoe, like Jerry Springer. So I get right in front of the Comedy Store. And I stop, and we're stuck in traffic, and I see him jump out of his van.
Oh, shit.
He's running to my car. I go, okay, I guess it's on. So I jump out, and he automatically comes at me like a front kick, like he knows a little karate. I step back and I grab a hold of his shirt and slam him into the rim of my Jeep Samurai. So we're throwing down. He ripped my shirt.
Oh, my God.
So, we scrap for a second. I'm getting back in the Jeep. I'm like, okay, I guess we're done. He hits me in the back of the head. I'm like, bro, he's getting up to lunge at me again. I'm like, man, come on. So we turn around, we throw down again.
And there's like cars honking.
Cars are honking. There's guys going the other way. Cars are stopped. This is like noon traffic on Sunset. So there's like 4 guys in this Jeep, see the whole thing. They're like, kick his ass. I'm like, I'm just trying to get back in my Samurai and go have lunch, bro.
Yeah.
We scrapped a little bit. Let me just get back on the road.
Yeah.
He keeps attacking me. So somehow it gets out. He's in front of my Jeep, like you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He comes around in front of my Jeep, like you're not going anywhere, you fucking asshole, faggot, son of a beach faggot. So I go, okay, bro, this is it. I had on work boots, the 90s hip hop, Belle Biv DeVoe work boots.
Yeah.
So I went right up to him. We're squared off. The guys are still like, you had to kick his ass. I'm like, and my girlfriend's in the car. I can't take off. So all right.
Yeah.
So I come right up to him. He swings and misses. Kick him right in the nuts. He goes to his knees. As he's going down, I crack him right on the right side of his head, right here, right on the temple.
Yeah.
Blood comes out of his eyes. I go, this guy's jacked up. He's bad. So he's making his way. I jump back in my Jeep. He's trying to go back to his car. And all the way back, he's still cussing. He's still calling me names.
Are you thinking maybe he's going to go get a weapon? Maybe
I just want to get out of there at that point.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to call the police, you fucking ISO, son of a bitch. But I just imagine the next day he was giving a tour. And this is world famous Comedy Store. And here's where fucking ISO, son of a bitch, kicked my ice right here.
Yeah.
He put his foot in my ice hole right here on Sunset.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, man. And I ended up fracturing my hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, because I've been watching more like these boxing videos, self-defense. They say like when you make a fist, because you hit him right there on the temple, like you
and
can. Did you hit him with the 2 knuckles you're supposed to hit him with?
Well, you're supposed to hit with the first 2 knuckles. I don't
Yeah.
know, dude. I just threw a haymaker.
Yeah.
It was before I was like doing boxing or anything.
So, yeah. Wow. What a story. So
but now I have kids and, people get in traffic and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, just, hey, go ahead. It's no, go. Don't worry about it.
But I understand that frustration of the trying to get up and then, because it's very steep hill. It's so funny because recently, I think Alec Baldwin or something got into a traffic mishap, and it's funny, people who like him and don't like him
For like the 42nd time.
Yes, we're like, dude, there's nothing frustrating about. I guess what happened was
He's out peace and love, man.
he was
I like him.
he was supposed. When you pull up and then you try to back up into a parallel spot to parallel park, somebody zoomed in, and so
Well, I heard he had someone saving the spot.
Oh, so I didn't really.
He probably
hear.
had his assistant or someone.
Oh, that's
I'm almost there. Go stand in the spot. Go on the
screw
street.
that.
They said someone was standing in the spot to save the spot for him.
Oh.
And then someone zipped in.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm just picturing. You put yourself in their shoes of like.
If you go up a little bit, you're about to.
Oh, that would suck when
Yeah.
if someone were to do that.
Because unless they were in a smart car, I don't think they could have zipped in without parallel.
Driving and
drifted.
You know what? Yeah, I find that when I exercise and I'm like, I don't. The road rage is like I don't really have road rage. It's like I try to like, I'm like
Well,
maybe
I zone out now. I listen to Outlaw Country or Pocket Party Podcast or some podcast. As a matter of fact, the other day, because I'm in traffic like early.
Yeah, we're all going to be in traffic.
So it's
guys.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm zoning out. Got a new car. Had it about 2 weeks. And I'm zoning out. And I was listening to Adam Sandler. I think he was on Howard or something. And he was talking about coming back to stand-up. And I took a long break. And I'm just now getting back into it. So I'm like, dude, I'm totally going through this. And he goes, even though I did it for years, I was terrified. But once I broke the ice, it felt good again. I'm like, dude, I just went through this shit. I'm going the same thing. I'm looking around. The next thing I know, I go, boom.
Uh-oh.
I'm just sitting because 101, 405 interchange, it's the busiest interchange in the country.
Ooh.
So I got to get there. Sometimes I leave. I got to get there before 6 a.m. or I'm going to be stuck. It can take me 2 hours to get over to Beverly Hills. So I'm just sitting there. We're going like 3 miles an hour. I'm looking around and I just get lost in my thoughts. I got too relaxed. I'm just like, poof. But you see people like stress and they try to cut in. They go all the way to the end. And we've been sitting there for 45 minutes and they're like, let me in, bro. And you put your hand up like, I don't see you. Changing the station on my radio right now. Looking for my Bob Seger 8-track.
Yeah, I know. What did you hit when you said you went bump?
So I hit a car. And it was like an older Honda Civic, like a 92 Civic. I'm like, oh, here we go. He's going to hold his neck. He's going to call Larry H. Parker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I put it in park. I'm like, oh, man. And he looks in the rearview mirror. He kind of jerks and adjusts his mirror. And I'm like, sorry, bro. So I wait for him to get out. And we're like we're not in the lane closest to the shoulder. We're in the other one. So then he puts on his blinker. I go, okay, I guess we're going to do the deal. Get over.
Yeah.
So I put on my blinker. Then a car or two goes between us. I may have slowed down a little bit to let a car or two get between us. But I'm watching. I'm like, well, if he pulls over on the side, I got to pull over. And then we get to the 405 and he took off.
That's good.
I'm like, thank you. He must have been an illegal alien.
Like, I don't want any problems.
INS, I'm a speed dial.
Dude, I had a problem one time. I was on 405. Same thing. It was very slow. And like some helicopter was above the cars, like tick, 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 tick. And I remember going, oh my God, there's a helicopter. Same thing. As I'm looking up,
what
I
a cool
slowly
helicopter.
bumped a car, boom. And then just barely, like you barely bump.
Yeah.
And then the guy got out and he was like, oh, you know what? It looks fine. Just I'll see you later. I gotta get home. And I was like, oh, no problem, thank you. And I was like, thank God. Like, so even if there's a helicopter above your car, guys, just keep your eyes on the road. Like,
yeah, you can get. I think I'm so used to traffic now that I zone out, or I'm thinking about comedy. I'm thinking about a book, idea.
Yep.
I do notes on my phones. Do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hit notes and I hit the microphone. I'm like, and it's all scrambled. It looks gibberish, but I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But I just try not to stress in traffic anymore.
Yeah, there's no point in it because, like I said, it's like, one of the first jobs I did when I moved to LA was I was a traffic school instructor.
Were you?
And we'd learn little things
Comedy
like
traffic school?
Comedy traffic school, although it's funny because back then they didn't really have a lot of monitors, so I worked out a lot of material on the people. I mean, in fact, somebody was...
Because you're in front of the audience for...
for like 8 hours.
Class for 8 hours, right?
Yeah, because they can't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere. So
Captive.
We have to get through this together, guys. So we could either... And I'd hold up the big book. We could either go through this giant DMV book or, line by line, or we can kind of, wiggle around and cover some topics of what we're supposed to do. And I mean, sometimes it was fun to like kill 2 hours just going around the room. Give me your name, your quote unquote alleged violation, because I know we're all innocent. What you like to do for fun and what you currently do for employment. That way, if someone had a job they were embarrassed by, I'd say current, whatever. But it was great because sometimes people would be like, it was almost like I was hosting a podcast before podcasts came out.
Yeah.
I'm asking questions, we're filling time. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I got to really break out of my shell as a
Riff.
performer, because it
You're
wasn't
writing little notes on the side.
taking little notes.
1 second, guys. Hold on. Let me just try this tonight.
Yep, I remember like writing the word danger on the board, and I
Danger.
said, no, I wrote the word. I'm sorry, I already gave the punchline. I wrote anger. I go, what happens when you have anger and you add a little D? Danger. So I'd be like, don't, when you get
Did you
angry.
make that up in class?
I think I did. I mean, we're going back 20 years, but yeah, I mean, I would just talk about stuff, and then things like that would come out. Like right now when you said the lane that you described, in my mind, it's lane number 3, because lane number 1 is the fast lane, quote unquote. Lane number 2.
Yeah, you got to know
3,
those.
You got to know those lanes. I don't know how it is now. I don't know if it's. I remember asking somebody about 7 years ago, and they said it's a lot more strict. A lot of classes have monitors where people sit in the class like spies to see if you're.
Were you at the improv?
No, it was an independent mom and pop type of thing.
Really?
So
I went to the improv. A friend of ours once, because I don't know if he puts it out there now that he taught, but I showed up and I had a violation. He's like, hey, everybody, it's my friend Stevie D. We do comedy together. And then we had our first break, and he's like, here's your certificate, dude. You're out of here. Oh. But I left thinking, dude, you already told everybody we're friends.
No,
and now I'm gone.
I know.
What if they report your ass?
Exactly.
Like, I want to leave, too, because I noticed your friend left.
Yep. I was paranoid. I never did that. I was always like, well, it's a law.
Yeah, he announced. And he's,
I
think he said, hey, do a couple minutes if you want.
But I would goof around sometimes. Like, I remember, by the way, if these are all just jokes.
Yeah.
Who knows if I really did this? But I did have a friend.
Hypothetically,
this would be a funny idea.
Yeah.
A friend pretended to be the teacher, and then for as long as he could, for like a half hour. Then he's like, I'm just kidding.
This guy's not funny.
Darren's the real teacher. And then because he did it for stage time. It was pretty.
Oh,
funny.
He did.
Yeah, he pretended to be the teacher so he could crack jokes and stuff. And then I go, hey, that looks pretty fun. He goes, you want to try it? Sure. And then I go up.
Oh,
there.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then I ended up teaching the rest of the class, and then.
I could do that.
Yeah. But I remember because we didn't have like a place, like it wasn't like for the improv, it was like this mom and pop type thing. They were like, you're going to be teaching at Chevy's in Encino on Saturday. And then like they have like a little banquet room, or you're going to be teaching at they had like these different locations.
Uh-huh.
But I remember that Chevy's in Encino because, at lunch, I remember like this older man who had a Porsche hooked up with this younger, woman in her 20s. He's like, hey, because you're not supposed to like, have adult beverages, and come back to class like that's against the law. But they were like, hey, we're going to go have lunch and we might have a cocktail or two. But, I'm like, oh, don't tell me about that.
La, 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 la.
And they're like, he's like, well, yeah, we're not going to do that. Just,
no.
But I'm pretty sure they did that. It was like, people hooked up and stuff. It was in a way, it was kind of cool. Like, especially when I first moved to LA, because I got to learn about Los Angeles. They were like, oh, you got to go here. Pomona's where the fair is. And you should check out this sometime. And like you were telling me
something. People ever hit you up and go, hey, I think you taught traffic school and I was in your class.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at the Ice House one night performing, and this guy goes, you were my teacher back in the 90s. I remember that day. And, back then. Yeah, it was a little weird too, because I think I had like 2 TV credits. So somebody had seen me on, and then it's always that weird thing where like, I saw you on Showtime and now you're doing this. But I think it was weirder for me. I think they kind of know like that's how show business
That's how it works, yeah.
It's not that.
If you're in a restaurant, you go, excuse me, actor, can I get some more iced tea over here? You don't say, excuse me, waiter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, and then what about that thing? They have like that job shaming thing where they secretly take a picture of the guy working at
Traders.
Yeah.
And then I heard Cardi B or someone gave him some money and he said, no, I don't want it. Gave it to charity or something.
Wow. I didn't follow up on that story, but I did not like how they kind of shamed him for that.
Yeah.
Then,
man's got to do what a man's got to do.
That's right.
No, when I was a kid, I had paper route when I was 12 years old. That's how I got my scratch, my arcade hustle money, and bought my BMX parts. Worked at a Winn-Dixie and.
Do you ever look back? I was trying to look back and find the bike that I had as a kid. I've looked it up on the I cannot find the model. I don't know where my parents got the bike from. I don't know if it was Montgomery Ward's, if it was Sears. I don't know where it was from. Have you ever tried to look for the old bike that you grew up with?
Did you ever have a Huffy?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You'd go over a ramp and the rims would bend like the first. You're like, what happened?
I know.
It's funny because I had all these bikes and it's still bike. I still mountain bike a lot. And we were talking about Amundsen Ranch, which is right up the street from me. I guess it kind of gives away where we are out here, but there's like trails.
Tell us about
Amundsen.
What's it called? Amundsen
Ranch.
Amundsen Ranch.
Amundsen family. They have theaters and theater in Beverly Hills, and they've donated a lot of their properties to city of Los Angeles, and this particular ranch right up the street, some of Gone with the Wind was filmed there, a lot of Westerns. It's got killer trails and shaman Indian caves, and I love all that Native American stuff. I take my kids up there. My son and I finally just did this peak that we've been looking at for 4 years since I've lived here. And I'm going, when you're old enough, we're going to do that one. So we did it 2 weeks ago, and I put on Facebook an hour and 41 to get to the top and back down. But no, I still ride. But talking about bikes.
What's in those caves? Have you been in? Can you go in? Can you walk?
Found a big snake in there, and we videoed it. And I had my daughter with me, my son, and my son was ahead of me. I'm kind of boosting him because you got to scramble in some areas, and it gets a little sketchy. So I have one in front of me and one behind me, and then I'll go and I boost her up, and then I boost his butt up, and he goes over a rock, and he looks back at me. His eyes are big, and he looks back. He goes, "Daddy, something's on the other side of this rock." And I go, "What is it?" I thought it was like a crack pipe or something. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And he looks back and goes, "It's a snake."
Oh, no.
I go, "Get the hell out of there." And I pulled him down. It was a huge snake.
Wow.
It was a big snake. And we kind of stayed back. I didn't see a rattle on it. I'm like, all right, it's just like cave snake. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Yeah.
But it looked harmless. So I turned on my camera and videoed it. And I'm like, "Hey guys, should we bring this home to Mom?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's do it." And then I sent her the video right away. And she's like,
"No.
OMG, do not come home with that." And,
I'm into the belt, Mama.
But the cool thing is,
can you go in these caves?
Yeah, you can go in the caves.
Is it?
Yeah, bring your son, man. I'll take you out there.
How deep are these caves?
Well, you got to scramble. You got to climb to get up, and then it's big. Then it opens up.
Yeah.
And then there's other trails if you want to keep scrambling up.
In the caves?
Yeah, and they pop out.
That sounds kind of dangerous, though.
Yeah, it is. It gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But man, that's what makes it cool, man.
I know. I would probably just want to go maybe 3 feet into the cave.
Yeah, just peek
right,
your head in.
I did it.
That's a cave, all right.
Good. I went cave exploring, yeah.
You said you wouldn't even camp in the backyard.
I know.
I showed you the guest house, and you're like, yeah.
I know.
Little rustic, little.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds like a good idea.
I keep it rural.
And then, I keep it rural.
I keep it rural out here. No, but we're talking about bikes. I just got my first Schwinn mountain bike, and I'm like, now it's like it's not a big deal. But as a kid, I'm like, that was the Mac Daddy bike.
Schwinns, baby.
Schwinn.
I know.
Like if you had a Schwinn Stingray or if you had a Schwinn BMX, you were the man.
Did you ever do the baseball cards to make it sound like a motorcycle?
Oh yeah,
with
the baseball cards.
With the clothespin. I love.
Can you be riding barefoot sometimes, and your foot would hit the concrete? Oh damn! There goes a toenail. I was talking about my Uncle Ricky the other day, and he had nicknames. I didn't know any of his friends' names. Like I said, he's just like 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
So there's this dude that hung out with him named Football Head. He goes, "Hey, there's Football Head." I go, "Why do you call him Football Head? What's his name?" He goes, "Yeah, by God, that's his name, Football Head." So one day, my Uncle Ricky's on his Schwinn Stingray, and Football Head was on the handlebars. And he goes, "Hey, Stevie, check this out, man." He got some speed going. He jumped off the back of the bike, and the dude was ghost riding on the handlebars. He goes, "Watch this, man." The guy's like, "Oh, shit." Crashed in the side of a building, and the guy was hurt. And my Uncle Ricky just laughed. He goes, That's why his head's shaped like a football." Blaze on. We say, blaze on.
Blaze on.
Blaze on.
Okay, so you have the book called The Trans Am Diaries. You guys can find it, I'm sure, on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
And everywhere else. Now, before we go, what's the next book about?
So the next book is, it's all comedy, no cancer, just more crazy stories. It's been about 3 years working on this one, took my time. And I would just think of a story, something I wanted to talk about. And so, it's been edited right now. And like I said, it took about 3 years.
For the second book, do you think? Okay, let me ask you this about when it comes to writing a book. That might be something I'd like to do.
Okay.
So you write the book with comedy albums. I mean, I feel maybe somebody could educate me in a better way, but I feel like self-publishing is better with comedy albums because I'm the performer and I'm the owner, and so you get a bigger check. And you nowadays it's not like I have to rely on a record company. You know, because
what I was told. On a book,
Yeah.
which came from my publicist, is you can self-publish. Anybody's putting ebooks up now. You can edit. You can go in tomorrow and go, "I don't like that chapter. I don't like this line."
Oh.
But the thing is, you won't get any press on an ebook.
Oh.
You got to have a tangible book to get in book fairs, to get in festivals, and to get press. So if you're going to go on a morning talk show, if you're doing a book signing, you're not signing their Kindle.
Yeah.
This is your calling card.
So you could do,
and even though you make more on an ebook,
Yeah.
I make more if people download my book.
you could self-publish a book that's an ebook, and then also make up a short run, right? Maybe 1,000 copies.
You can do that. You can
So
have
that
your
might
own.
be a thing to do.
Yeah, and I know people that have done that. They paid for their own book to be published. You publish it yourself.
So at least you're handing.
But to get in a bookstore, to get in Books A Million, to get in,
Yes.
Amazon bookstores, anything, it's gotta come from a publisher. It's it's got all this technical legal stuff you can see.
Do you think it's going to be easier for you to get a second book now that you've had the first book?
Well, yeah. So I got great reviews on this one.
Yeah.
So I think that legitimized me a little bit. It's like a feather in the cap.
Yeah. Of course.
So the second one, I think, is going to be, I can be with my same publisher, which they're very, very good to me. Or we can, who knows what's going to happen, but it's been edited now.
Do you know how many pages that is?
This is about 200.
200. And
I cut out that Pocket Party podcast. The last chapter I cut out. It wasn't about two. The new one, it's not finished being edited yet, but it's probably going to be about 50 pages more than this one.
Wow, that's cool.
More stories.
I remember when I started comedy, I was like, it was so hard to do like 5 minutes, and then it was hard to do 10 minutes, and then but what was really hard, because that wasn't that hard, but what was really hard, I thought, was to have a solid 30 minutes. I remember one time this guy goes, he owned a comedy club, and he goes, "How much time can you do honestly?"
Honestly.
I go, honestly, 23 minutes.
Yeah, 23 tight.
Because I was being honest.
Yeah.
I should have just said 30 minutes. But I was being honest because I wasn't going to lie. I wasn't going to be like...
That's your Comedy Central 23 minutes because the 7 minutes is commercials.
Right.
Well, first you get your 5. You get your type 5 for industry showcases. You got to have the type 5. But then when you start making money, if you have to go out and back it up...
He was like, "Come back to me when you got 7 more minutes." And I was like, "Shit,
7 minutes."
But for me, it was hard because I like laughs. I wasn't one of these guys that can ramble around up there without getting a laugh. I'm like, I want it to be funny. 23 minutes. So with writing a book, was it hard to be like? Were you like, "Damn it, I wrote all this stuff and it's only 14 pages"?
Well, I'm more critical of myself. Yeah. This time I was like,
or is it the opposite?
I was delirious. The first time I wrote this. I was writing out of fear. It was cathartic. It was, I had a goal. I was obsessed. And this time I've had more time.
Yeah.
So every time I would go back and do a run through myself, I would start changing. I was my own fluffer. I'm like, I could pump this chapter. Yeah, I can make it better, make it funnier, use better words, make it tighter. I want every chapter to be a payoff. Like when I wrote this one, I didn't write in chronological order other than the common thread of cancer. So I may think of a story here, and then I put them all together.
I was just going to ask you a question, but I think I have the answer. He has a ruler here. Do you know this is a weird question, but what are the dimensions of this book?
I have no idea.
Is it
I don't know. I guess it's standard. I had no say in that.
It's 8 by whatever the hell it is, right?
It's almost 9 inches. That's what she said. By 6.
9 by 6.
Or is it 6 by 9?
Yeah, 6 by 9. I think they call it 6 by 9. So it's 6 by 9. So my friend, the reason I say that is my buddy, he's like, yeah, he wrote this book, self-published, and then so you can do an album through like TuneCore or CD Baby. I use CD Baby, and CD Baby, that company has a company called Book Baby, and so I think he sent it into Book Baby, and they were like, yeah, if it's 6, he wanted it 6 by 9. He wanted the way your book is beautiful, man. It's perfect.
Well, thank you.
And he wanted the 6 by 9 book, and they were like, yeah, but they go, it's only going to be. It was only like 120 pages, and he goes, damn, it looked like some kind of weird pamphlet. He goes, this doesn't look that good. So he goes, let's make the book. So they made the book smaller. Like
to make it look thicker.
Yeah. So 5 by 7 or whatever and he goes, now all of a sudden it's up to like 2.
It had girth.
Yes. Yeah. It made the book is smaller, but it's thicker.
Yeah.
So it's like he's like, yeah,
like a beer can.
He's like, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, just the little technical tricks.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't even think about that until I saw the book, until I got the book. But I guess it's like a standard for a 200-page book, and I was just writing off the cuff. I didn't know how many pages it would be, even with this one. I know it's just going to be longer. I didn't obsess about, even when I turned it in, I didn't have the pages counted.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get, because like when you're writing 1,000 words or whatever it is, you got to turn something in.
Yeah.
Like I don't like deadline. I don't like that.
I don't either.
I like to write stream of consciousness. I like to write, like you said, I don't want to stretch it if it's not funny. I like to keep it tight. I like every.
Do you write like how would I write a book? Like as far, let me see. Do I just start? Because my friend, he would start with the chapters. Like he goes, I'm going to have 12 chapters. This chapter is going to be called blah, blah, blah. Like, family gatherings, and then it's all basically like stories and jokes about family gatherings. Like they never want to say goodbye. You walk them out to the car, and people keep talking, and whatever. You try to say goodbye, and you got to kiss everybody in the room, and then whatever.
Well, my goal when I wrote this one was I wanted every chapter like a greatest hits, like an album. I wanted it to be an album where you may like the third track. You can read this out of order. I mean, I suggest that people read it from the. I want you to get, what what happened.
But like you might write a
where I
chapter
came
about
from,
like DJ in
but
Florida.
Yeah, I may think of a chapter, may think of a story, and I'll write that story. And like I said, I didn't write everything in chronological order. I wrote the stories as I thought of them. Then I put the stories together. I did the same thing with this new book, but I wanted every story to have a payoff. I wanted every beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
You end with the punch, or you
I gotta
end
get
with
better at that because I'll write a little story and I'm like, oh, this isn't really a chapter.
like an SNL sketch. It starts out with a good premise and it
Yes.
just kind of fizzles out or goes too long. You're like, oh, it would have been better at 3 minutes. They went 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So I wanted everything to be tight and funny. And like I said, every time I reread it, I go through a draft myself. I would be critical. I'm like, it's funny, but I want everyone to be. I want people to spit milk out their nose. I want them to piss in their pants. I want to be
That's
poignant. I
tough,
want to be
'cause
funny.
Yeah.
And I want people to say, all right, that chapter was worth me spending an hour tonight in bed before I fell asleep to read it. And the greatest compliments I got from this book was people had a friend to call and goes, dude, I had a business trip. I was reading on the plane. The woman in front of me kept getting pissed, turning around because I kept shaking her seat. I was trying to hold in the laughter and I was shaking her seat. So those are the greatest, compliments.
So cool.
And people are going, I laughed so hard. Dude, I was crying. I couldn't put the book. I just had my daughter's school teacher last year. I went in to read through their class and I gave her a book. I didn't read from this. I'm like, oh, by the way, I write also. And ironically, at the end of the year, my daughter got best writer in the class.
That's awesome.
And I read, and so I gave her a book and she's like, yeah, what's this? Well, she told my wife, she goes, my husband thought I was drunk. I kept waking him up because I couldn't put the book down and I was laughing so hard in bed.
That's awesome.
I kept waking him up. So now she comes to my comedy shows and it's weird to look out. I used to be, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I'd come in, oh, hi, Mrs. So-and-so. And, what does she need to work on at home? I'm going over her homework with her, but she's above my reading level already. But now I look out and she's at my comedy shows and she's
That's
like
so
a
cool.
big fan now. And I'm like, oh, wow. So those are the best compliments. If someone says, oh, you inspired me not only to get healthy or check my health, but also to have goals or, use humor. Because, they say laughter is the best medicine. I say tequila's pretty good too. But yeah, it was my defense mechanism growing up, kept me from getting beat up to be the funny guy. And I'm still a clown.
Dude, I am so glad we're gonna wrap up this podcast. Stevie D, I'm so glad to have you back in the comedy world.
Is it 11 yet? Because the owner's
back.
So
I know we gotta
pissed.
get out of here. I know. I'm so glad to have you back on the scene again,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
We missed you, and it was good to kind of keep in touch with you still, like through like social media. Then I did your
I'm
show,
a little talk show, and I had
did
you
your
on
talk
there.
show, and I went-
twice.
Yeah, back to the
25th
trailer.
anniversary,
It was
the double wide.
awesome.
Yeah, man.
the double wide, man. But you're good. It's great to have you back, and I want to have you back on the podcast, and we can talk about like this podcast is inspirational, motivational, and maybe you could
Now you tell me.
you could you could drop some knowledge, on the next appearance about little like eating right and physical fitness things, and like you said, you don't need a gym to work out if you guys are in a jam and you're out there, and just to start out your day with 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, whatever, even if it's like 25.
Well, I got obsessed with fitness because my dad died at 40. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, clock's ticking. I know, the DNA, whatever cards I'm dealt. So then when the cancer hit at 42, I'm like, when I hit the 40 mark, I'm like, oh, my dad died at 40. I really got to step it. I was like obsessed like Walt Disney. He went to a fortune teller when he was 35 and said, you're going to die young or whatever. So then he started working 24/7, becoming obsessed. So I've always been a hustler, but I'm also optimistic. So I'm not like driven. Like you said, some people get bummed out because they're not where they want to be in their career. I'm like, life is good. I'm healthy, got a beautiful family, got good friends. I can go on stage and tell jokes and make people laugh, and I can be healthy. Exercise is the best therapy. If you walk into a gym, I guarantee you an hour later when you walk out, you're going to be glad. You're not going to be, man, I wish I hadn't worked out today, man. Why did I do that?
Absolutely, man. I always end the podcast, and I usually tell people before we start, but I'll throw it out to you now. I ask people if they have words of wisdom for our listeners, something they can gain value. Like, I like this podcast to be entertaining. I love that they're hopefully entertained, and we're talking about things that are interesting to them, and we're keeping them company. We're starting that party in their pocket, in their ear holes, as we like to say. But do you have any words of wisdom, something you'd like to leave, something maybe for our younger listeners, or whatever?
Well, just a little callback. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I was supposed to go to WKU, Western Kentucky University. I was enrolled, and I never showed up. When my book came out, guess where my first book signing was? Western Kentucky University.
Wow.
It just so happened. I'm a little late for class, y'all, my bad. But I always knew what I wanted to be since I was 5 years old. I always knew I wanted to be entertaining people, make people laugh. And so for it all to come back around like that, I just look back and go, I always believed in myself. So I would say, nobody knows what you're capable of except you and the big guy upstairs. So, keep on keeping on, and put your work in. Got to put the work in, whether it's, comedy or in the gym or whatever, and put your work in, and it will pay off. If it's meant to be, if you're not someone that's just delusional, that's horrible, and you're trying to be on American Idol, and your mom said, "You're such a good singer. We are the world." You're like, no, but if if you can make people laugh, or whatever you want to do, whatever your skill set is, focus on that skill set. Don't worry about plan B.
Yeah, if it's building something, if you're a builder, if you're whatever that thing is that you're obsessed with, be obsessed with it and believe in yourself and give it your all.
Eddie Murphy said, don't spend any time thinking about plan B, because then you're not going to put 110% into plan A.
That's right.
So go for plan A, and then if that doesn't work out, I got a tent in my yard. Check it out on Craigslist.
Yeah. And sometimes, yeah, exactly. And if you have maybe plan B will be associated with plan A.
Haters going to hate. Haters going to hate. So just believe in yourself, and like I said, put in the work.
That's right. Great words of wisdom. Stevie D, thank you so much. Where can people follow you on social media?
Stevie D Rocks on Instagram, Stevie D Rocks on Facebook, StevieDRocks.com. And come see Darren and I November 16th.
That's right. Send Stevie a message. Let him know you heard him on the podcast. You guys are great. Thanks again for coming to our party.
Rock on. Let's go to a Taebo class.
Let's do it. A Taebo class.
And work it.
And work it. Squeeze it. And work it. Dude, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Pocket Party. Yeah. When I'm down and feeling low with so much negativity, I listen to Darren.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening all the way to the very end. We have 30 episodes out there. 30.
Boy, don't hurt nobody.
Love that beat. Miguel Romero.
Run.
Like I said, if you have a musical abilities, or you know somebody that would like to do a cover of a song or do an original, make a copy and send it to pocketpartypodcast@gmail.com. pocketpartypodcast@gmail.com. And I will play it on the podcast. Give you a shout out to all your social media, and put it on YouTube. Thank you guys for checking out this podcast. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And what he's talking about at the end of that song is a quote that I like to end the podcasts on at the boxing gym when I go there, which I'm about to go to now. I noticed one of the coaches, when he says goodbye to the fighters, he's like, "All right, now, don't hurt nobody. Okay, don't hurt nobody." And then when he sees me, "Be careful." So that's my wish to you guys this week. Get out there, don't hurt nobody, and be careful. All right. See you next week.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.